Okay, so welcome to our team meeting. We do these monthly. I've been trying to have guest speakers on every month because you guys have heard me talk for years and years. And there's a lot of things that, like what Michelle's about to go over, that I am not great at. If you know me, I'm not good at graphics or design or anything with the computer, really. Those I like to hire somebody to do or borrow graphics. But yeah, this is why we come together so we can help each other learn. And we're really excited to have Michelle Hall with 1L on our,
One
on
out.
our 1L on our team page, on our team meeting tonight to talk about calculating pays, which I think is once you see it, it's pretty in depth. She says she's going to explain it, and I'm very excited to see it because I kind of am ready to get into it and dive into it. But she is star director of Shells. Michelle, how long have you been with Scentsy?
I'm joined July 31st, 2015.
Okay. Okay. So, star director's got her team is growing like crazy. So, I'm really appreciative that you took time off from your schedule to help us and do this training. So we're gonna dive right in, and if you want me to share that screen or if you want to go over a little bit before, you just let me know and we can kind of go from there.
I can share my screen so I can do like all the
Yeah, go
showing
for it, girl.
different things. Let's see. You have to let me share my screen.
How do I do that? We are on a computer, you know that, right? Oh, I can make a host. I can make you the host.
Let's try that. Yeah. Okay. So let's see this one and share.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. All right, let me make it bigger so y'all can see it. Okay. All right. So this is basically what I created to take care of my team. I started out with like my whole team because a lot of you don't know the background about my team. In March of this year, I had a total of 50 people on my group, Scented Shells. Since March, we are up to 270 now. So we have had like tremendous growth. And I was always one of those that like, I wanted to like know everybody on my team, keep up with everybody on my team. So I was bound and determined to make this work for everybody on my team. And as we grew, I realized that I couldn't keep up with everybody. So I started really honing in on my frontline. I have 35 frontline total. So that's why you see like the number over here to your left over here. This is my total frontline that I have over here. I of course deleted their names because I don't want you to see kind of like what they're doing or any of that stuff. But then there's things that I like to know about my front line that I keep up with because I tell them all the time, if it was not for my front line, Scented Shells would not exist. So if you concentrate and you work really hard with your front line, then your team is going to grow. Those 35 people are what the 270 come from. So once you concentrate on them, take care of them, and let them know that they are the backbone to your whole group, then things will start changing for your team. So I kind of made this now. At the bottom, you'll see down here it says frontline team. If this kind of like stresses you out, I don't know. I can't see the comments, so Faith, you can see if anybody has questions or anything. But if you've used Excel before, kind of raise your hand or something so that I can see, or the people that I can see. If you haven't, that's okay. Don't let this scare you, because a lot of people look at it and they get like really overloaded. But honestly, it's just like a checks and balance along with our workstation. So we have our workstation, and where I get all of this information is on my performance tab. So I go to my performance tab and I pull up my reporting, and I have a report saved that's just my front line. And that's where I get all of this from. If you don't have that report saved for just your frontline, you can sort it by your level, and then your number ones come up, and those are your front lines. So I saved a whole report just for my front line, so it's a lot easier to do if you do that. So basically, this is the join date for everybody on my front line, because I like to kind of keep up with when they joined. Of course, their names go here, which I don't have any names in here right now because I took them all out. The difference between the gold and the purple are my actual frontline that I sponsor. The gold is my directors and that I have up underneath me. So I have Anna, who is a star director. She's in purple. That she's actually mine, so that's why she's there. Anna has two directors under her, so those are my second gen directors, and then Katie has a director under her, so that's my second gen director too. So right now I have three second gen directors, and then my two front line directors. So that's what the different colors come in. And the reason I have to have those on there is because they factor into my paycheck. So as you're figuring in and putting all of your people in, those factor into your paycheck. So I have their rank of what they're actually ranked. If they were paid at title in the particular month that we're in, and mine of course is like filled out, but I didn't want to like put all of the goodies in here for you guys. So you would just check, if they're paid at title. Promotion watch is something that I like to keep up with them. If we, especially now with the incentive, if you have somebody that's like close to certified lead or star, you're going to get points for those. So you want to kind of like keep up with their GWV and their TWV and just kind of see where they are as far as if they're on promotion watch. And those are the ones that you can like talk with and stuff. If they are active for the month, that's another thing that I'm working on being very intentional with. I'm trying to grow my active frontline. Out of 35 last month, I had 20 that were active. That's the most I've ever had. So I'm building them up and taking care of, making sure that they know that that's important to know, yes, you are active or whatever for the month. Then I have my leaders, if they have their 500 PRV in yet or not. For the ones that are my leaders, that's how, you get paid at title and everything. You have to have that 500 PRV in. So I kind of keep up with that for me just to kind of shoot them messages to let them know. Shooting star date. This is if they hit shooting star or not. I just kind of keep yes or no just so I'll know, that's just for me. That's something I wanted to keep up with. So the nooks and cranny of your paycheck are going to be these columns right here. If you don't have any second gen directors up underneath you or anything like that, you don't even need to worry about this column, but I'm putting it there because we're all aiming for that. So it'll be there when you get there. But right now you want to have this right here, which is their TWV. And then the percentages are already formulated in there to come up with what your projected pay will be. So I leave this at 30% because I try to reach my 2,000 PRV every month. If I don't, I would just change this back down to 25%. And all you have to do is just like click on that box. And then if you change that to 25%, I don't know if you saw that, but you see where the number automatically will adjust over here. So, and if y'all have questions, like unmute yourself and ask.
I
Based
have
on,
questions.
okay, go ahead.
Already I have questions because like
This is very interactive and I want y'all to ask questions because that's how you're going to learn. So yes, no, ask me questions.
This to me seems like a really smart idea for somebody who is just starting out to grow it, because to me this seems very overwhelming. I have 75 frontline, and then I have, so to do it now, do you think I should go back or start where I am right now? Because that's a lot.
It won't take you that long. For those of you that have a lot of frontline, it honestly will not take you that long because literally all you're doing is you're going to your workstation, you're pulling up your started downline report, and honestly these go from Tammy is my first one, all the way down to Jennifer is my last one. So you're just going to plug in their names over here. And I have like all of this stuff I keep up for me. So aside from paycheck, I have, did they do their first things first? And I honestly was starting to be intentional with this right down here, like later on, whenever I was like starting to like really develop my Scentsy life. If they were on track for sensational starts, and if they hit sensational start level 1, 2, or 3, then I highlighted and changed the color of what level they hit. And then how many recruits or reinstates did they have in that month?
Okay.
So this over here, I'm going to get to pay in just a minute. So this over here is just strictly numbers for me. So I wanted to keep up with the growth of my team and the growth of my group. So every day, every night before I go to bed, I snap a picture of my performance tab. So in the morning when I wake up and I update this every morning. So when I come in, I'll put in what my PRV ended at the day before, what my GWV ended at the day before, what my TWV ended up the day before. These never change. So this is what you need to be on a daily basis to hit director, star director, or superstar director. So this is what your target needs to be, and these never change. So this over here is my group. I have 270 in my group and 80 on my team. So these are the ones that change. But for your pay, which I know a lot of people are just like, all right, this just blows my mind. I don't want to do that. But if you come down here, I have a sheet that's just for pay. Okay, so this sheet right here is like literally just for pay. So you don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. If you're not concerned about that, if you just want your pay, then you would go to your performance tab, start a download. Start a downline report. Click on your front line, get your front line only because your pay is based off of your front line. Plug all their names down in here. Just go straight down, plug all of their names in here. And then you're going to make sure what their rank is, okay? Because that's going to determine what these percentages are. So let's just say Faith is, let's make Faith a star consultant. So we're going to make her a star. And you're going to want to come over here. Since she's a star consultant, she's only going to get 5%. All right. Because if you look at your compensation plan, that 5% is what a star consultant is going to be. So what I want you to do is I want you to watch the box to the right of that. Whenever I hit enter, watch the box to the right, the 1424, it automatically adjusts because the formula is already in there. Okay, so let's just say Michelle is a certified consultant. All right, so she just joined. She's getting ready to hit, we're going to give her 1500 PRV because she's rocking it out. So we're going to give her that. Her percentage is going to be 9%. Okay, so watch the box beside that. She's 9% of 1500. So that's going to be $135 in your paycheck. So as you're doing this, if you notice at the bottom, this number down here, this is what your paycheck is going to be. So as you're changing all of these and you're plugging in all of these numbers, let's just say somebody named Julie is a star consultant and their percentages. Now watch the blue box down here, this box down here. When I change this to 5% and hit enter, watch that box. It's automatically going to change to what your paycheck is going to be. So honestly, the only thing is you go in and you plug in your people, you make sure what their current rank is matches what the percentages are. And then the only thing that you're going to plug in is their TWV going down. You see what I'm saying? So if you're plugging in their TWV going down, then that's going to calculate the percentages over here. Make sure those are correct for what rank they are. And this is automatically going to calculate. Those formulas are going to stay in there as long as you don't erase them.
Michelle, I have a question.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a way to export reports from your workstation to Excel to match this?
Yes.
Make it easier? Okay.
Yes, you can do that. You can export it out. You'll have to add the formulas in.
Okay.
to do that. But what you can do is like, you can just do another page, like down here, do a blank page and export that into your blank page. And then come down here and then just go see what that formula is.
Okay.
You click on this box, the formula will be right here. Sorry. And then just make sure, that your columns add up. So here's where those columns come from. This is J right here, J, and then L is the percentage. So this box right here that I'm currently in, which is highlighted, M is the sum of J7 or whatever line I'm on times L7 or whatever that percentage is. So that formula, has to be right for it to formulate and pick up your paycheck correctly.
Okay, here's another question just for funsies.
Yep.
Do you get super close to what your projected pay is, like every single month?
Yes. Within a few dollars. Yeah. Well,
Wow.
this month it was weird because I mean Anna and Jen and myself, like I was off like $100 to the good, which is a good thing. I was off like $100 to the good, but I don't mind telling y'all, my paycheck was like $3,700. So I mean, I've never been off like $100. I've been off like a few pennies, a few, maybe a couple of dollars based on what they rounded up to or what they didn't round up to. But this month it was off like, and I went back in under my commission to figure it all out, and I still can't figure it out. So I don't know where I just call that blessing from God for $100. So, because I literally went over here on one of these blank columns and I was like, all right, I'm plugging everybody in by everybody's name. Because our compensation tab like literally splits it out by name. Like you can literally figure it out by name like that. And I really love that. But for me, to keep up with it on a daily basis or on a monthly basis for budgeting and stuff, this totally helps me out as far as my family goes for budgeting because I'm able to figure that out. So yes, it will get within, a certain amount. And once you build this, literally once you build this and you have all of this, let's just say, okay, I name mine. So you can click on this box down here and you can call it Frontline October 2020. All right. So let's just say, all right, it's time for November. So I'm going to come down here to my box and I'm going to call this Frontline November 2020. All right. I don't have anything in here, but if I go to my October and this little square with like a half a square highlighted in it, if you click on that, it's going to highlight the whole page. Once it highlights the whole page, you go up and you can do file, copy, or whatever, but I have a shortcut on mine that says copy. And then you see the little line that goes around the whole thing. Just come to November tab, go back to that little square up there, click in that square and hit paste. And it brings the whole thing over, formulas and everything, names and everything. So everything will come with it. So once literally building it is the hardest, but I build it. You plugging in your Frontline is going to be what's going to take you like maybe 15 minutes, but it won't take you long. You just go down and put your people in it and just follow the workstation. Follow, if you sort it by your levels and you hit all of your level ones, this just follow it down by your workstation. And then once you do that, look over on the TWV side and just plug these numbers in. Plug in 375.98, enter 286.88. If they don't have anything, then these are blank. So if they have 0 PRV or 0 TWV, go past that and just keep on going down. But literally this is the easiest way to do it. Now I saved my Frontline report, like I said, on our workstation. So I just click on that and bam, this pops up. But for me, helping them track, helping them see their promotion, looking at where their TWB is, and shooting them a message and say like, what, you're right there at a promotion, like you're at 950 TWV, you're so close to promoting to lead because you got another person on your team and everything, so it really helps out a lot to be able to see the different things, to be able to track stuff like that. And I've tweaked this along, as I'm doing things, I've tweaked it along. And And honestly, by just saying that, I think another thing that would help, and I'm probably going to add this because it just came like a light bulb to me. And that's me. I'm a visual learner, so I'm a visual thinker. But knowing how many people that they have under them on their front line, I'm probably going to come over here to Promotion Watch and add a column in here for how many people they have on their front line. So that way I at least know if they have 950, GWV, TWV, and they're by themselves, well, then, they're just getting certified. But if they had that one other person, if they sponsored one more person and got that person active, then they would be at lead. So I'm probably going to add a column in there. So thanks, Faith, for letting me see that. I need to add. But I mean, if you want, I'm one of those that I'm a big cheerleader as far as cheering my people on. I let them, I mean, I literally look at my people and study them hard and like let them know. I'll shoot them a text message and say, oh my God, look, you're like so close to promoting to lead or star, or look at what you're doing and all of this other stuff. And a lot of them don't even really realize that. And I'll tell them, this is what you need to do. If you can just recruit one person, get them to active, you'll hit it by just getting them to active. So it's just a visualization for me. And it really helps that I do this every single morning. I get up and I update it multiple times a day just because I like to see where I am as far as my paycheck goes. But for me, I definitely do this every single morning when I get up. I pull up my reports, I refresh it, and I go in and all I have to do in the morning is just plug in this TWV. I go down there, plug that in, see who's active. Yes, 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 and then I'm done. So if you want to do it once a day, I recommend it once a day so it doesn't get overwhelming. Anna Watson was very kind of set back because she was like, her and Jen both were like, I don't know if I could do this. This just like looks kind of a lot. But literally I get a text from Anna every single morning and Jen saying, okay, worksheet updated, I'm ready to go for my day. Because it's like that. Once you get it in there, once you get your people plugged in there, and as you're adding them on, as you're adding new recruits on, they're going to go to the end anyhow. So to add a person on, this is important. So you would want to go to the next line down. See how my arrow's doing over here? Click on that. That's going to highlight the whole line at the bottom. And then you can right click on it. If you wait a minute, go over here and right click on it. And then you're going to insert a row. And it's as easy as that. And I like to highlight all of mine so they all have blocks on them. So you just highlight that and then you can go up here and add your blocks in on all borders. But adding another person in is as easy as that. So let's just say, well, I'm here, but I don't have my percentage in. So if you look, I'm in that box. You see I'm in that box, but up here where the formula is, there's not a formula in there. So as you're adding people on, go to the box above that, okay, and see where that 7% is up there. What you want to do is you want to see how it's the little plus there? See how I got the little plus on the right-hand side? You'll see that? Hold your mouse down and drag it down, and it'll add that percentage in there for you. And then you can just change it to whatever you want to change it to if you want 9%. And once you enter $700 in there, then, well, you have to do it on this one too. Sorry. Drag that down too. Drag that down. And that's where the formula comes in. So whatever percentage you want to do this as, then drag that down and it'll put that in there for you. And that way you don't have to think about the formula. So you just keep on adding rows and then just keep on dragging it down and it'll add that in there. This is what's important, is the percentages is what's important. So if you don't get the percentage right based on what their rank is, then your pay is not going to calculate right. So if they get a promotion, you got to remember to go back in there and update their percentage to what their new percentages is going to be. And that'll reflect properly on your paycheck.
I think this would be helpful as well to like people who are right in between a promotion. You could calculate, you could help them see what the pay difference is. Like say they're a lead consultant and they are about to promote to star. You can be like, well, let's play with some numbers, because to me Not everybody joins Scentsy because of the money, but a majority of people do.
Right.
Let's just be honest. And
Yep.
so when they could actually see the difference in the paycheck, I think that would be huge. So, making something like that and doing, having it for lead and
And
star, and,
yeah, and I think another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that we also get that extra bonus for our PWV. So once you hit lead and above, you can figure out this is my PRV and this is my PWV, personal wholesale volume. So I get 25% of that and I get 9% of that. So I find that on the performance tab, as soon as you click the performance tab, you'll see your PRV and your PWV. That's where these numbers come into. So we also get that extra bit of bonus, on our paycheck that also needs to be figured into your paycheck. So that's why both of those are there. It's reflecting my personal PRV, and that's why that one's blue, because that's me. So my percentages are going to be different based on what my PRV is. And this is PRV, not my TWV. So that's why those are in blue. All of these down here are going to be the TWVs.
And so if they're not paid at title, you just change the rank, or you just change the percentage.
If they're not paid at title, it's based on whatever they're ranked at.
Okay.
So yeah, that percentage is based on whatever they're ranked at.
Okay.
And they all fluctuate in there. Like these are for the 3 is for director. I don't have any superstar directors yet. I had one that was really close, so that's why you don't see any of the 2s. But that's what the difference are: certified leads, stars. But just plug it in based on what their rank is in the comp plan.
Okay.
Any other questions? Did I blow your mind?
I felt like I'm the one asking all the questions. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute myself. You guys unmute yourself. I know you got questions.
Yes, ask me anything you want to know. And I can't see the chat, so I don't know if anybody's chatting or not.
No
Only
chat questions.
one simple question.
Okay.
I can't delete the formulas permanently, can I?
You can, but it would be hard. Like you would have to go here and then you would have to go like up here and delete all of that.
No, I'd have to be really trying.
Yeah, because let's just say this is right here. If I hit delete, it's just going to like take that out. And if it takes it out, okay, if it does delete that out of there, but just remember, go to the top one right above it, take the cross and pull it down and it'll come right back. Yeah. So it'll plug it right back in there. So if you do hit delete and delete any of those out, just go up to the top one, take the little cross in the bottom right, and then just pull it down, highlight it and pull it down.
I just want to make sure because I have cats that help a lot.
Oh, yes. Yes. Three of those. Absolutely. Anybody else have any questions? And like I said, if all of this is like too much for you, then just go to the pay sheet and plug all of your people in. That's just delete my numbers out and put your numbers in there. But it's basically the same thing that's over here. It's just taking out all of the information that, I kind of had on there so that I keep up with my stuff. But it's basically the workstation like in Excel. And you can export it out if you want to export the names out, but honestly, it won't take you that long if you want to do it. And this is what I call my working file because it doesn't have any of my team names in it. So I shared that with Faith for you guys. So she can upload this file to the computer and all you have to do is like open it up in Excel and just save it to your computer. If you're a Gmail person, a Google person, it'll also work in Google Drive. Because I have Google Drive on my iPad, and I've gone like electronic with all of my systems now. So my iPad is like my planner and all of my other stuff. So I have this on my iPad. So it will upload into Google Sheets also if you don't have Excel.
Yeah, I think this is going to help a lot of people, especially people who are trying to increase their paychecks and also trying to make sure that they have a certain amount to supplement an income.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate this, and I need this too, because when I try and do it, it would probably drive you crazy, Michelle, to see how I tried to calculate my pay with my pencil and
Mhm.
my calculator on my phone. And yeah,
And
yeah.
just play around with it too. Like if you have a target in mind of, let's just say, like, I need to hit $1,000 paycheck, because Tiffany and I do this a lot. We were like, all right, this is what, and Tiffany Green is my accountability partner. She's like my person, but we do this a lot every single day. It's like, okay, I need $1,500 on my paycheck this month. So what do I need to do? So basically you plug everybody in where they are then, and then you go adjust your PRV. That lets you know, hey, I'm responsible for my paycheck to a certain percent. So if I need a $1,500 paycheck, yes, I'm seeing what my team is doing, but what do I need to do as far as my PRV goes to increase my paycheck? So play around with it. Or if you have somebody, that is close to being paid at title, and you just need to edge them on a little bit, this is the way to do it. You plug in their stuff and you see where they are, and you're like, okay, you're this close to this, and it's just it's very helpful. To me, this is visual because I'm very visual, so this like jumps out at me like, oh my gosh, she's like super close. I had tracking a lady last month that she was like $1,000 from Superstar Consultant, and we were back and forth and back and forth, and I was like, you know what, it's going to happen. It's coming, because she's every single month she's increasing. And another thing, I didn't send y'all my working file, but I've been doing this since last September when I hit director, because when I hit director, I was like, okay, I don't know about y'all, but before, I was just like, oh, thanks, Scentsy, I got a paycheck. But when it started, affecting my everyday life, and it started, helping out with our bills and everything, and doing stuff with that, it was like, I asked around and I was like, okay, how do y'all know how much you're getting paid? And they were like, oh, well, I don't know. Nobody's ever really asked that question. And I was like, how could you like not want to know what you're getting paid throughout the month and everything? So I told Tiffany, I was like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. So I literally took our commission history page, and I like dug down. Y'all remember it used to be like really like expansive out. And that's how this Excel spreadsheet came about, because I figured it out. I went in and I just kind of like wrote it out, and then I put it on an Excel spreadsheet, and I was like, all right, I figured it out. And when I put in my formulas and everything and did it for October last year to figure out what my paycheck was, it matched up like almost penny for penny on what my paycheck was last time. So I was like, finally, now I can actually figure it out what it is, and I can plan better for my family and stuff. So that just, that made it a lot better. But the whole point of this was definitely keeping track. But another thing is you can go back. Like I can go back, and I do this quite often. I look at my different tabs down there so I can see, last month my GWV right now is at like 19,000. Last month on this day, where was I? Or 2 months ago on this day, where was my team? Where were our numbers? And I can go back and I can compare to see if I'm on track, to continue to trend up, because basically that's what we want to do. We want to trend up. So I can go back and just click on those different tabs down here for all the months that I've gone back, and I can see the growth, and I can see, my front line growing and all this other stuff. So to me, it just is reflective of how my business is going. And you can add sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets, how many ever you want to, for the rest of your life down at the bottom. And I mean, it's just really, this one document can like grow and grow and grow, and you can keep up. A year from now you can look back and say, oh well, in November of last year this is what I was doing, and look how far we've come so far on the 10th of the month. So I do a lot of reflecting back and seeing, where numbers are and who's doing what each month, whenever I can go back and just kind of see where we are, if we're on track or if we're not on track.
I think that's really good, because I know sometimes, like especially as leaders, we'll get so down on ourselves sometimes because we compare ourselves to other people, and it's just natural. And we have to remember that we can only be better than we were,
Yes.
and progress is progress as long as you're moving forward. And there's always going to be dips and there's things that are going to happen in your life. But I think that looking back, like, because when I did my timeline,
Yes.
I was like,
Love
oh
the
my
timeline.
gosh, yes, I hadn't done it. And I finally sat down one day and did it. It didn't take me very long. And I was just like, okay, this is what it's about.
Yep.
Like I need to keep growing my team no matter what, because I'm always going to be, hopefully always going to be helping people reach director. And when you do that, guys, you're going to have to regrow your team wholesale volume. That's just all there is to it. So I absolutely love this. I think this is amazing. I'm really, really going to try my best to do it.
Honestly, if you need me, honestly, just send me a message. Like I can't tell you how many people's, like, I've literally plugged it in for them. But honestly, if you need me, just message me. Or if something happens to your page or whatever, just shoot me a message or whatever. I don't mind helping. Like I said, once you get all of your people plugged in there, it's super easy, because you're only going to be, the only thing that's going to affect your formulas that you might mess up is going to be like these 4 columns right here, or 3 columns if you don't have any second gen. But these 3 columns right there, and those are easy fixes. You just have to, make sure that those are in there. But once you plug your people in, this column right here, Jay, this is really the only one. If it's just your paycheck that you're worried about, this is the only one that you're going to have to worry about. So, I mean, once you get your people in there, just going down and plugging those numbers in, it's not even going to take you 2 minutes to do every single day. And that gives you an idea of where your team is, what your paycheck's going to be, who's doing what. And the rest is just, information purposes. Like if you're sitting down giving your business 30 minutes a night, you can come plug in, oh yeah, they're active for the month, yeah, they're active for the month, and see who's doing what, or who has their 500 in. So that shouldn't take you very long to do that. But literally that J column there is the only column that you'll be diving into, because you're already going to have your people in there. So sitting down the first time doing this, depending on how many frontline you have, you said you have 75 frontline, Faith, it might take you 30 minutes to plug them in.
Okay.
It should not take that long at all. And once they're in, they're in. Okay. So once they're in, unless they fall off, which we're all in grace now. So nobody's leaving. So, and we know we're all going to be active. So we're not going to lose our downline. So, you don't have to worry about taking them out or adding, all you have to do is worry about adding people in at the bottom. And I showed you guys how to do that, and just drag it down to where that formula is going to match up. And, so you should be good to go. And once you have it in there, it's super easy to do. Super easy to do. Any questions? Did I miss any questions?
Everybody's saying just thank you for sharing this.
You are very welcome.
I really appreciate it, because legit, when I used to calculate the pay before, when the compensation plan was there, it would only have it wouldn't have the names. Like several years ago, it only have their consultant IDs. So I would have to look up the consultant ID and then search in my workstation for the name. And I was like, this is too much. So this makes it really easier. No, I have not shared this yet.
That's how I built this. I wrote down their consultant ID, then I wrote down their name, then I wrote down their thing. And then I was like, okay, once I get like the puzzle pieces together and put it on here, then I'm good to go. But yeah, that's how I did this.
Yeah. And I will share this on Faithfully Fragrant, Leaders with Purpose, and Conquer from Within. It'll probably be tomorrow, guys, but I will share this file because Michelle sent it to me. And we're very, very grateful, because there's no way that I could have done that.
Yes. Just plug your people in. If you have questions, message me. Yes, absolutely.
I got it. Me and Excel will work with it. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah, everybody's like, share it.
Okay, I can stop sharing my screen now.
We will share it, guys. Don't you worry.
Yes.
I will share it for sure, because it's super easy. And if anybody has any questions about paycheck or the compensation plan, go ahead and unmute yourself, or any other questions, because we really appreciate Michelle being here. She's Star Director. If you have any questions for her, go for it. That's why we have her. We want to respect her time, but this was awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Because when I saw it, I was overwhelmed.
That's everybody's first initial thought about it. Honestly, everybody, like when Chloe asked me to do that one training, everybody that was like, unless you are a lover of Excel, everybody was like completely shut down, like completely. And they were like, I'm not doing this. And I was like, literally just have this much faith in me and just plug your people in and do it. That's what I told Anna and Jen, because Tiffany was already doing it. That's what I told Anna and Jen. I was like, this much faith in me, just that much faith, plug your people in, and then just like, go for it. And they love it now. They absolutely love it. So it just takes a little bit of time to get it built for your team, your specific frontline. And this is only your frontline. So it's not like you have a team of 270 and you're plugging everybody in, because I was doing that and I was like, okay, I can't do all of that. So I went to like my frontline only, and that is where I really help. But I am going to add that column. Because I need that column to see, instead of going back and forth, how many people that they have actually on their front line, to know like what they can promote to. Like I have them on promotion watch, but it'll be, it like literally clicked the light bulb, and I'm like, why don't you have that on there to see like how close they are? So I'm always updating this. So if you see it again in another training, it might be like, well, mine doesn't look like that.
That's a good thing though. That's why we always like do this, and like the more you use it, there might be something that I want to add, or probably not me, but somebody else who loves Excel and who's really, really good at it, they might see something, and then that's how we share, and that's how we all grow, and that's how we learn things.
Yeah, it's totally adaptable to you. Like I said, if all that stuff is not in your wheel, then you can delete a column out. Super easy. Go up, highlight the column, and right click and delete it out. Take it out of there if you don't want it in there. So I mean, it's super easy to work with, and totally adjustable to what you need, what goes for your team.
So Kimberly was asking about what I said about once you have a director underneath you. So once you have a director underneath you, that's great. That's awesome. And that'll never affect your GWV, but it'll affect your TWV. And so that's why when Chloe says that we are always sponsoring, we will always be sponsoring, because my TWV, I tracked my TWV. Michelle promoted in September to director. And so when she promoted, I noticed that my TWV went down, and I was like, why? And I was like, oh, I promoted a director. So you just have to realize and calculate what their TWV is going to be taken away from your TWV. Does that make sense?
It is very important. I know this is your meeting, but it's very important to make sure that you are continuously sponsoring, because a lot of people are not meeting their TWV because these directors are breaking out, and that's 10,000 TWV going away. So you have to remember, for director, you have to have 2,000 TWV personally. For star director, it's 6,000, and for superstar, it's 10,000. So that's your team. That's your team. So once they hit director, their team breaks away from your team. So I have a lot of people that come to me and they're like, well, I'm not really gonna, I'm missing something here. And I'm like, you're missing TWV because you're not sponsoring and growing your front line. If you stop sponsoring and growing your front line and your people start promoting, then you're going to sink. You're going to sink really fast, because their team's going to grow, and their team detaches from your team once it's great that they're growing. It's great that you're growing and birthing all of these directors, because that's what you really want to do. But at the same time, you need to keep on sponsoring and growing more directors. So you have to keep your team going in order to sustain going with the growth of your overall group. Because if you don't, you won't be paid at title, because Scentsy still expects us to work our own teams and get to where we need to be.
And I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. Like, you don't want, that's why it's not that's why it's not a pyramid scheme. You can be out promoted. You can lose people under you that are, well, first of all, people are rolling up for people that aren't active, which I think is very fair. But if somebody, who I sponsored out promoted me, I shouldn't be getting paid off of their team. That's just how there is to it. because
Yeah.
guess what? They've been doing more, not more work, but their work is paying off more and they deserve to get paid off of that.
Yeah.
And so that's just one thing I always like to tell my teamies. And you know, if you have more than one director underneath you, and that's why sometimes when you really have to look into the compensation plan, and I'm really glad we're doing this right now, because when I talk to some of my directors and I talk about them hitting star, I really have to explain to them the pay difference, because sometimes people promote to star director and they don't get paid more. Does that make sense? Like the pay is either equal or less because the TWV has gone down and they're like all these things. And I think this will really help me visualize it and show people, Michelle, because when I tried to explain it to somebody, I'm not a wordsmith, it turns out. So maybe if I plug in those numbers and show them, then I can show them what they really need to do to make that income with those second gens. Like focus on them second gens.
If you want, definitely, because if you look at the comp plan, the percentages for director, star director, and superstar director are exactly the same. There are no difference. The only difference in those three titles is your second gens and your third gens. So if you are a director and you promote to star director, you're not going to see a change basically in your paycheck that much until you get a second gen director, because your percentages are going to be the same. The only thing that's going to be different is that TWV that you're going to have to concentrate on, because now it went from 2,000 TWV that you needed to 6,000 TWV that you needed. So that's why you don't ever stop growing your personal team. And I know we all have like our teams, and these are our teams, but you have a frontline personal team. You don't ever want to stop that. You want to make sure that you're I have a Facebook group that is solely for my frontline. I don't have anybody else on there. I have all 35 of my frontline on there, and that's where and nobody else is allowed on there. No, none of their team members are allowed on there. That's just the people that I personally sponsor. So these are the ones that I have that relationship with. If they're having issues with their team or they want me to help them with their team, this is our safe spot to where, none of their teamies are on there. This is just me and them, the ones that I personally sponsored. And we're helping each other grow. We're doing all the things. Since I started this Facebook book group just for them, it's like we've gone from 10 or 11 active frontline to, like I said, last month we had 20 active frontline. So we are continuing to grow, but I'm pouring into them a lot, because if it wasn't for my frontline, I wouldn't have 270 people on my team or on my group. So, and that frontline is where my TWV is going to come from. Yes, I have 2 directors that are on there that their TWV is separate, but all those other people that are on there that I've sponsored, and they're the ones that make up that TWV. They're the ones that literally are the backbone to Scented Shells. And I tell them that I want them to know how much I appreciate them, how much I see them working with their team. This is where I can give them like all the praises and all the glory and all the blessings, because I see them working. And it's like a space where I can say, look, Faith, I know you're working so hard with your team. I'm super proud of you. It really makes me happy to see that. But it's something that is intimate with us on that group, just for our front lines, just for my front line, that I can like be in there with, and they can come to me or they can ask other people that are on that frontline group page, how are you doing this with your team? Because there's no team members whatsoever. It's just my front line. So that's really in the past few months that I've done that. And I know people say, God, I don't want to have another group page. I don't want to, but sometimes you need a group page. I don't have a particular leaders page. I have a leaders chat that I do with my directors and above, but I don't have a separate, like Chloe has anchored in. I don't have that. I used to, but it didn't get as much attention as my regular page did. So I just kind of stopped that, because to me, on my regular scented shells page, and I know this is getting off of Excel, sorry, but on my on my regular scented shells page, we have a culture of just, everybody helps everybody. So when I saw that, we do have that positive culture and everybody's helping everybody and everything's doing really well, I thought to myself, I don't really need a leaders page. What I need to do is concentrate on my front line and building them strong, because if they're strong, then their team that they're birthing is going to be just as strong as they are. So I want to make sure that, they're getting that firm foundation and that they're building their team. I was a slow grower. I mean, I joined in 2015 and I didn't hit director until last September. And then this past September, I hit star director. So, I mean, I was a slow birther. It took me 2 years to get one recruit. My first recruit, it took me 2 years to get my first recruit, but I didn't give up. So, I mean, I want them to know that that the place that we have for, our frontline group page, that's something that we can talk about stuff like that, like come on there and say, hey, I only have like one person or only have like two people. That's fine. Let's build that foundation. Let's grow them strong. And if they're growing strong, then, it's going to keep on like that. So you just need to you need to pour into your front line, and you need to keep adding to your front line, because they are the ones that are the backbone. So my leaders, I don't really have a leaders page. I have my Senate Shells page, and then I have my frontline page.
I actually really like that idea, because building those bonds, especially so early on, is going to help you build a stronger team. And for so long, I feel like I relied on other pages because I didn't feel worthy, and I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm just doing what I think I should do,
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good idea. I like that, because I'm kind of a dude, and if people don't text me, I'm like,
right. And I mean that it's there for all of them. And I think that they realize that, the more I post in there, and I do special things for them. Like I have an active frontline challenge that I do every month. So every month, if you get active, you go into a drawing every month, and I do a monthly drawing for the ones that get active. And I send them something or whatever, so they're all in this together. And then, it's just a place where those are my people. I sponsor them. I can spoil the heck out of them. But the long story short is they are the backbone to Scented Shells, because as their team grows, then my team grows, and then my group grows. So as long as you're taking care of them and you're doing, you're building that relationship. And I think that having a safe space for them to come and talk and not have to worry about, is my team going to see this, or anything like that, then I think stronger leaders also, because we can pour into each other, because we are the front line to Scented Shells is basically what I tell them.
Yep. And I had somebody say, Heather said, I love the frontline group. Probably going to do that instead of a leader page group. I think that's really smart. I have been thinking of getting rid of my leader page, was thinking they didn't need to be on 3 leader pages. Agreed. I feel the same way sometimes. I feel like I'm kind of iffy about my leadership page. And I really think that you're right. Focusing on your front line is huge. And there's a lot of resources out there for leaders, which I'm very, very thankful for. We live in our team culture, like our group culture, guys, it's like nothing you will see in Scentsy. Like, if you have ever been in any other direct sales, you know how blessed we are that Chloe created this for us, and that we have all these people. Like, I didn't know Michelle. I would not have known Michelle if it wasn't for Scentsy. And she's coming on here and she's blessing us with all this knowledge, and she's sharing that with us, and then we'll share it with our teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is great. Does anybody have any more questions for Michelle before we wrap things up? Because we're coming up on an hour and I want to respect everybody's time. Know what, you guys have families, and I know it's late. Nobody is ever this quiet.
It's Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Yes, Katie's cooking Taco Tuesdays for me.
Okay, well, if nobody else has questions, I'm going to end the recording.